Hello, sweet, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Divine Alignment. Today, we're going to be talking about your intuitive gifts, why they're not opening up faster, and how to awaken them. So, if you are new here, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, and let's dive right in. So, this this conversation was inspired by a conversation that I recently had with a friend. And, one of the things that I feel really grateful for is that when I work with clients, so often I'm able to see them awaken and activate and step into their intuitive gifts. And I think a lot of people have this misconception, perhaps, of how it's supposed to look, how it's supposed to be. And I really want to just shed some light on how do we work with our intuitive gifts? How do we open them? How do we activate them? How do we awaken them? I was recently on my friend Rachel's podcast, and she asked me, did your gifts open up very quickly, or did they kind of just like evolve over time? And I was like, it really made me like think about like it was both. It was both. I had that moment of just like, oh my gosh, which I've shared this before. It was after I quit my job. I had kind of been getting into hypnotherapy. I had started my business in hypnotherapy, but I still was working at another job. And it was when I quit that other job, it was like this weight lifted off of me. Now, all of a sudden, my channel just opened. I went to nature the next day, sat down in the middle of the forest by myself, and started writing, and something poured through me, and I started automatic writing for an hour. I was like, I lost all track of time, space. Like when I read back what came through me, I was like, oh my goodness, this was not me. Like so clearly, this was not me. And since I had that experience, now I have literally spent every single day since then, every single day. This happened, oh my goodness, like 4 years ago. And I have spent, I'm not going to say every single day, like almost every single day since then, channeling. Why? Because it is the most important thing to me. My connection to my soul, my connection to my guides, my connection to God, source, the universe is the most important thing to me. And it's a muscle. It's a muscle. I continue to strengthen it every single day because I care about it. Anything that you care about, you will take time and attention to, and you will dedicate time and attention to strengthen and cultivate. You want to build your body, you're going to dedicate that time to going to the gym. You have to. You can't just expect to like ask and visualize and your dream body is going to drop in. Like you got to put in the work. And just like, some people's, I think, gifts perhaps open by, they say accident, but really it's never accident. It's like they actually have received the energetic preparation for that. But these people who have these really wild experiences of like their gifts opening up, it's like something did prepare. There was something that happened before then for that to lead up to that. But if you're not in that situation and you're like wanting, first of all, if you want to deepen and strengthen and awaken your spiritual gifts, it's for a reason. If you're listening to this, it's for a reason. It's because they're there. Everyone has them. I know that for 100,000% fact. Everyone has intuitive gifts, but not everyone will activate and awaken them. Not because they're not talented and gifted, but because they don't want them to. Some people have fears or perhaps perceptions or misconceptions about what working with their gifts may be like. And so they don't want to strengthen and cultivate that muscle, and that's okay. That's okay. Everyone has their own journey. But for me, it's the most important, most expansive, greatest part of my life that I can't imagine a life not channeling, not connecting with guides, not connecting with the universe, not connecting with my soul. And whenever I'm feeling out of alignment in my health, in my wealth, in my relationships, it's usually always a redirection to connect with my soul on a deeper level. That's why these quote problems happen. These are gifts from the universe in order to cultivate a deeper connection to yourself. It doesn't seem like it at the time. Of course, it never seems like it at the time. And when we're really in it and going through it, but that's why it's all happening. It's all happening to lead you to greater trust and cultivation of the universe and of yourself. Because you are the universe. You are the universe. You are God's source divine in human form. And so I want to begin. I've been talking about all of this stuff. I want to, I guess, start with one of the things that I would suggest is to realize that it's not a learning. It's actually an unlearning, and it's a remembering. We think that we've been programmed to think that we go to school, like we were taught this, like we go to school, we learn stuff, we make a job, blah, 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 that's life. No. Unfortunately, there's much more available to us. Not unfortunately, fortunately, there is much more available to us than that. And we've been taught that to learn in a very linear way. There's a time and a place for learning, and there's a time and a place for unlearning. So we have to learn, and then we have to peel back a little bit and unlearn and decide what's for us. The greatest things that you learn, quotes, I believe, this is my opinion, are rememberings. So I want you to think back to perhaps a time when you were reading something, or you heard something, or someone told you something, or you learned some wisdom about yourself, and it felt like remembering. I'll never forget the very first time I experienced a remembering was reading Abraham Hicks. I was reading Abraham Hicks, one of their books, and I was like, oh, it was like I knew that deep within me, and it was like I just forgot. That's what it feels like when we activate and awaken our gifts. But I just want you to know you are so gifted, you are so talented, and whether you have that like boom turning on of your gifts, or they are more gradual, whatever way that it happens for you is perfect. It's the way that your soul planned for. It's a way that's going to support you in your greatest growth and ascension and awakening. It is. It has to be. But I think where we trip ourselves up is when we get into comparison and thinking that our journey has to look like another's. And that is, my friends, the fastest way to disappointment is expectations. It's expectations and how it's supposed to look, how it's supposed to unravel, how we are supposed to discover ourselves, how our journey is supposed to look. No. Let go of the expectations. Simply cast the vision of what it is that you are seeking and desiring, whatever it is. In this case, a deeper connection to your gifts, to your soul, to the universe, God's source divine. Set that intention. Know and trust that it will manifest and happen, and then follow the path. And it might not look anything like you would have imagined. What's coming to mind right now for me is the woman that I met, who is now my like mentor friend. Like, I don't even know what to call her. Like, she's just incredible because I met her through, we exchanged sessions, hypnotherapy sessions with each other, way back in the day. And when she was doing my session, for me, actually for both of them, she starts channeling. She's a medium. And it was just like, wow, like so much opened up for me. And now like our relationship is like, she supports me in my awakening of my gifts and learning myself, by asking me questions and helping me learn myself greater and deeper. And that's what I help people do. My job is, I am not your healer. I am not your fixer. I am not any of those things. Like, the greatest service that I could be of to you, the greatest service that I could be of to you is to lead you to your own inner wisdom and your own inner guidance and your own inner healer and your own divine wisdom. Because if I can activate and awaken that within you and show that to you and mirror that back to you, then you know how to do it for yourself. And we have a system right now that is dismantling and crumbling a bit for good reason, because it's not working, because it is set up in a way to make people dependent upon the system, medically, governmentally, all of these things. So when we are dependent upon someone else as our source of healing, of power, of safety, of security, it has to be stripped away. It has to, because the universe needs to show you that you have within you, yourself, all that you need. You have it within you. You are the healer. You are the source of your wealth. You are the source of your deepest, most loving relationships. It begins with you. It begins with you. And so if I can guide my clients to begin to see that, I believe that is the greatest gift that I can give them, is to help them see themselves, to receive their own guidance and own wisdom. Because you shouldn't be dependent upon a person or a system or any of these things, or a pill or anything. You should not be dependent upon them. Your source of power comes from within. So what else would I do? What else would I do if I wanted to cultivate a deeper trust and open up and awaken my intuitive gifts? I would, because I do, dedicate time every single day. Every single day. Think of this like a relationship, because it is a relationship. It is the greatest relationship you'll ever have. If you were in a relationship with a partner, would you just be like, hey, like, I just want you to come when like I'm feeling, this is what often happens. Like you don't feel good. And so then you're like, universe, what's happening? If you had a partner that you only went to when you didn't feel happy, that relationship is not going to last very long. Like plain and simple. So you really need to treat this like a relationship of like learning to know yourself and your guides and your soul and the universe, whoever you want to connect to. Treat it as a sacred relationship. And that means, well, what do you do for relationships that you care about? You carve out time for them. And so what you do in that time is up to you. You could just be sitting in meditation. How I believe my gifts really activated and awakened was through journaling. And that's still how I still journal and channel through my writing every single day. But there are many, going into nature. People think that I don't know. Who knows what people think on Instagram? I don't know. It's not my job to learn or worry about what people think. But I share a lot of nature, because that is where I feel so tapped in, tuned in, and connected, is when I'm in nature. And so many of my ideas and things that I talk about on here are downloads that I have in nature. Or things that come up with clients and conversations with people. But I believe that being in nature clears our vessel, because you are nature. You are nature. And so you get to connect with yourself. It's so much simpler. That is another thing. It's so much simpler than we think that it has to be very hard. Like I have to learn something that's so complex and like these people make it look so easy and effortless. Like, and I need to like learn this finesse, and like, no, you need to come back home to you. You have all of the answers within you. And so that's part of dropping the expectations and the how it's supposed to look, because your journey of learning yourself, learning the language with yourself and with your guides is something that no one can teach you, because it's going to be unique to you. I'm still learning mine. I'm still learning. And so like also giving you that awareness, like I still have so much to grow. I consider myself, after channeling and learning this language of the universe for years now, I still know that I'm just a baby, that there's so much still available to me. I know that. And that's part of the fun of it. And so wherever you're at, know that it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect for you and your journey. And everything that you have learned and experienced up until this point is exactly for a reason. It's exactly for a reason. And it's prepared you. It has prepared you for opening up your spiritual intuitive gifts. And I believe that opening up your spiritual and intuitive gifts is one of the greatest gifts that you can give the world. It truly is. Because when you're tapped into your soul, you now are a powerful, energetic conduit for others to be able to do the same thing. And so you lead by example. Again, when I first started my business, I would really do the work for people, and it was exhausting for me. It was exhausting for me. And once I began to lead people to their own wisdom, that's when I saw really big shifts happen. People got shifts no matter what, but I don't want people to be dependent on me. I want people to see and know and feel their inner power, their inner strength, their inner healer, their inner guide. That's what I want. Because if I can activate that within you, then you can activate that within another. And then imagine a society where we live in, where you're all standing in our power. And that doesn't mean that we don't go to people anymore and that we don't receive help. No, it doesn't mean that at all. We still support each other in so many ways. But the energetics beneath it, the foundation of why we're doing it, is very different. It's not to fix people. It's to continue to propel them forward. And that is a very different energy. So, in summary, to activate the title of this, it may be a bit misleading, because I want you to know that wherever you're at is perfect in your journey, and really know that there is no faster or better. It's perfect exactly as it is. But I would invite you to begin with setting an intention, setting out and casting an intention that you would like to deepen and awaken your spiritual gifts. Number one. Number two, setting aside time for this sacred relationship every day. It could be 5 minutes. It could be 5 hours. Whatever you like. And number three, maybe this is just personal for me, but I believe that an accelerated way to do this would be to get into nature in some capacity. Go for a walk, take a trip somewhere. I believe that's like the bonus. I think that that's perhaps the accelerator. It's just the guidance can feel a little bit more clear at times when we're not around the noise. And that means if you're in nature, putting away your phone, eliminating the distractions, and just like being still and quiet to receive that guidance. And dropping the expectations that, oh, but I saw one person and they received it this way. No, it's going to be different for you. And trust that. This is all a muscle that you are building of trust. All right, my loves. And so with that, go ahead and let me know in the comments below that you are listening. And until next time. No, let me know you're listening. But of course you're listening. Let me know your takeaways. I want to hear your takeaways and that you're going to go out and do this. So let me know that. And until next time, I'm sending you all infinite love and light.